welcome back. Today's class is going to be focusing on our hip flexor. So that is the area of your body which runs down the front of your pelvis here into that hip crease and then into the thigh. We're looking at two major muscles, which is the psoas major and the iliacus that runs down this part of your body. And it's often the area of your body that if you've been sitting down for a really long period of time, you think, oh my goodness, I need to stretch it out. I need to really think about like lengthening and elongating it. Well, I am giving you a class here that may be slightly different to what you feel and think you need in order to stretch and and lengthen the hip flexor. We are actually going to do a strength-based class, and what you may find is that the hip flexors feel so much different when we add these movements into our um, movement exploration and our movement repertoire. Brilliant. So we are going to start lying down. What you will need is a block. If you do not have a block, get a book that is about this thick, or at least thicker than like your average book. So if you've got a Harry Potter, that would be great. So we're just going to need that for some of the movements that we do. So yeah, getting down onto the ground, lying comfortably on your back, have the feet flat on the floor and the knees up to the sky. And just give yourself a few moments here to settle in. So maybe closing down the eyes or softening your gaze. Let's take a breath in through the nose and a sigh out through the mouth to settle. And then starting to notice your body here. Perhaps noticing where there's any tension or stress and just giving yourself a moment to kind of wiggle that out. And then bringing your awareness to your breath. Noticing how your natural breath feels in your body. Noting whether you're breathing through your nose or your mouth, into your chest or your belly, whether your breath is slow or quick. And then allowing the breath to slow down. Breathing in and out through the nose, can you send your breath into the sides of your body, sides of your rib cage? Allowing the rib cage and the side of your body to expand as you breathe in and soften back as you breathe out. Keeping this breath going, and when you check in with your breath, try and send the breath into the sides of your body, allowing this expansion and softening, allowing the diaphragm to move in a really natural way so that your body feels safe here. And then bring your left knee into your chest. Give it a little squeeze and a hug. Maybe starting to notice that hip crease and your hip flexor. And then you're going to circle that left knee around in space. Every time you pull the knee into the chest, into hip flexion, noticing your hip flexor. So the hip flexors are really important for our walking and our running. It's the motion of bringing the knee up into the chest that is the flexion aspect. Change the direction of those knee circles. And then pulling that knee back in towards your chest. From here, can you allow the left knee to stack right on top of your left hip, creating this kind of 90-degree angle in your leg. So maybe pulling the heel down a little so it's coming straight out of your knee. And then moving from the hip crease, can you pull the heel down to the ground to tap down and then pull the knee back in towards the chest as high as you can go. We tap and then squeeze the knee in. Tap, squeeze knee in. Good, keep that going. We're going to do 2 more. Next time the knee comes in, you're going to push your heel away from you, lengthen the leg, and then take the leg all the way down to the ground. Just before you hit the ground, allow the leg to hover and push the heel away from you, and then bend the knee and pull the leg back in. Push the heel away to lengthen the leg all the way from you, pushing the heel away, keep it hovering, squeeze the knee into the chest, take the leg up, push away, squeeze in, lengthen, push away, squeeze in, lengthen, and then push away. This time you're going to allow the leg to lengthen away from you and to come to rest all the way on the ground. Now, this is where you may want to experiment with your book or your block. You're going to push through your right foot just to lift the hips slightly. Place the block underneath the left hip, the left glute, and then settle the hips back down. Keep pushing your left heel away from you. Keep the leg long. And just notice how it feels through the front of your hip, through the front of your pelvis, as the leg reaches long away from you. Let's take a couple of breaths. Brilliant. Let's bring that left foot back in. Foot flat on the floor, knee up to the sky. Take the block out from underneath you if it was underneath your hip. And then pull left knee back in towards your chest. Allow it to fall out slightly towards your left armpit, And then keeping the knee bent, can you reach your left foot, right and left going all over the place today, your left foot up towards the sky. Then place your block or your book resting on your foot. Keep the knee squeezing towards the armpit. Now push the block up into the air to lengthen the leg, really pushing the block away from you. Squeeze the knee back in towards your armpit and then push away. Be ready to catch it if it falls. Squeeze, push away, squeeze, push away. Good. One more. Feeling it through that hip joint. Push away. And then grab hold of the block or book and release that left leg. From here, can you allow both knees to knock to the left? Try and keep them apart rather than stacked on top of each other. And then pull the knees back up to center and take them over to the right. Coming back up to the top and pulling the right knee into your chest. Give it a hug and a squeeze, just noticing how it feels in your body. And then allow the knee to start to circle in space, becoming really aware here of when the knee comes into the chest, how those hip flexors feel, focusing on the flexion part of these hip circles, changing the direction. And then pulling the knee back into the chest. We're going to allow the knee to stack on top of the hip. Heel comes straight out of your knee. And we move from the hip in order to pull the heel down to the ground. And then we squeeze the knee back into the chest. Heel taps. Squeeze the knee back in. Good. Keep that going. Nice. Next time, you bring the knee in, lengthen the leg towards the ceiling, push the heel away. It doesn't have to be straight, but then as you push the leg down towards the ground, lengthening it long, allow the leg to hover off the ground, push the heel away, and then pull the knee back into the chest. We lengthen to the sky, pull the leg towards the floor, hover, pull knee back in. Lengthen, hover, pull knee back in. Lengthen, hover. Yes, pull the knee back in. This time the leg is coming all the way down to the floor. Keep pushing the heel away from you. If you want to take your block underneath your hips, feel free. You're going to push through the left foot in order to lift the hips off and slide the book underneath you. And then place the hips back down onto the block. Push the heel away from you here. Keep lengthening through the hip flexor, through the leg, and breathe. When I become silent, it may be a moment where your brain starts to wander off, but just allow your attention to settle on your breath when that happens and when you notice that that has happened, so that you can stay focusing on your body and stay in the present moment. We're going to bend right knee, right foot to the floor, lift the hips in order to remove the block. Right knee squeezes into chest, allow the knee to fall out towards the armpit and the foot reaches towards the ceiling. Place your block or book on the foot. Keep the knees squeezing towards your armpit and then push the block away, lengthening through the leg. Squeeze, push away, squeeze, push away, squeeze, push. Nice. One more time. You really squeeze that knee in, push the leg away, and then we release the block, release the book, and release the leg down. Allow both knees to knock to the right. Try and keep them apart. Take a breath. And then allow both knees to knock over to the left. Take a breath. bringing the knees back up to center. Can you roll over to one side in order to come up to sitting? You're going to take the legs wide here. So allowing the legs to go wide, but maybe not as wide as you perhaps would normally do if you were going to come into a forward fold. So from here, what you may want to do is have your socks on still, or if you've taken them off, pop them back on again so that you can slide your heels along the floor. Try and sit nice and tall, and if that means that you need to come up against a wall, feel free. Bring the arms out in front of you, or if that feels too much, absolutely fine. Just place the hands behind you, but try not to kind of lean back into the hands, keep the torso high. And then what you're going to do here is pull your right knee in towards your body, sliding the heel along the floor. Squeeze it as high as you can go, and then push the leg away from you. And then we do the same with the left. We squeeze it up and in, and then we push away. And then do both together. Squeeze, push away. Right side, we squeeze, push away. Left side, we squeeze, push away. Squeeze both together. Hold, and then push the legs away. Nice. We're going to actually move the legs in ever so slightly. And then we go again. Right side squeezes in. Push away. Left side, using that hip flexor to pull the leg back in. Both together. Push away. Same again. Right. Left. Maybe you are like me right now and you can really start to feel those hip flexors working and switching on. If you do get cramp, please do not worry about it. Just shake it off and come back in. Walk the feet closer together. In. Push away. In. Push away. Both together. Push away. One more round with the legs in this position. Hold, and then push away. Nice, legs closer together. This is our last round. Pull in, away. Sit tall, pull in and away, both together. Ooh, push away. Right side. Hold it, push away. Left side, really squeeze it in. Push away, both together. We hold. Keep squeezing the knees up. Keep squeezing the heels back for 5. Good. 4. Breathe. 3. 2. And 1. Push those heels away from you. And give the legs a good wiggle. Amazing. And then slowly coming over to hands and knees. When you get to your hands and knees position, just give your hands a little bit of love, your wrist a little bit of love by circling the torso over the top of your hands. Noticing how your weight shifts here through each hand. Changing the direction. And then coming back to settle, your all fours. We're going to reach the right knee in towards the chest now. And as we do this, I want you to think about your spine. So really imagine that when you pull your knee into your chest, round your spine off, as if you're trying to create that cat shape. You're really trying to pull the knee up and in, and notice how it feels through your body. We're then going to take the knee back down, right in line with the left. This time, try and keep your spine as stable and as steady as possible in this neutral or whatever feels neutral to you. And you're going to pull the knee in towards the chest. Now, try not to create that rounding this time. What you may find is that the knee doesn't go as far. Then take the leg back behind you, push through your heel. Squeeze it in, push. Squeeze in. Keep the torso nice and strong. Keep pushing through the hands. Keep that leg moving forwards and back. One more. Nice. And then in order to step that right foot to the top of the mat, you're going to bend the knee, round through the spine, and step it up. Bring your torso all the way up. Tuck your tailbone here. Squeeze your glutes on the left side. Imagine you're trying to push that hip forwards, but the leg doesn't move with you, okay? So we're keeping right knee stacked on top of ankle. For now, doesn't necessarily always have to be stacked on top, but we're just trying to get access to that hip flexor. So we're tucking tailbone, pushing the hip forwards, and then reaching left arm to the sky. Right hand can rest on your thigh and reach left arm all the way over to the right. Take some breaths. Breathe into left rib cage here. Notice the expansion through the rib cage. Front, side body, back body. And then slowly bringing that arm back down, the torso back up. Hands are going to come down to the ground. We step the right foot back to meet left. So over to the left side now, really pushing the floor away from you. Left knee squeezes into the chest and round off through the spine, okay? Just to become aware and notice how it feels through the body in this position, so that when we start to reduce the rounding through the spine with the next movement, we're aware of what we need to do to reduce this happening. Then we're going to pull the knee back down in line with the right leg. So keeping the spine as steady as possible, neutral as possible. Pull that left knee into your chest. Push the floor away from you. Take the leg back behind. Squeeze it in. So we're solely moving from the hip. Squeeze in. Slow and steady, just like your breath. Every time, just seeing if you can squeeze it a little higher, the knee in a little closer to the chest without rounding the spine. One more. And then in order to step the leg through, we pull the knee into the chest, round off through the spine, and step it up. Bring the torso all the way up. Tuck your tailbone again. Squeeze the right glute and imagine that the right hip is moving forward, so you're pushing it forwards. Left hand, elbow, forearm maybe, onto that left thigh, and you reach the right arm to the sky. Lift up and over. Keep that right glute squeezing, right hip pushing forwards. Breathe into that right rib cage. One more breath. Pulling yourself back up. Hands coming to the ground, stepping that left foot back behind you. Toes together, knees nice and wide, sending your hips all the way back into your child's pose. And forehead coming to the ground. Breathing into the back of your body. And when you're ready, just slowly allowing yourself to come into a comfortable position for relaxation. You may want to lie on your belly, your back, your side. You may want to sit up, stand up, just whatever feels really comfortable for you today and what your body needs. For some of us, lying still on our backs just really feels uncomfortable and not safe. So choose the option that feels better for you. Maybe you want to come and sit on a chair. But use the next few moments of quiet in order for your body to rest, in order for your body to soak up everything that we've just gone through, the movements that we've created. Slowly bringing your awareness back into the room, noticing the temperature of the air on your skin and maybe noises outside of the room, starting to wiggle fingers and toes. And then taking a little bit of movement here just to wake yourself back up. And it doesn't have to look like anything, it doesn't have to be anything specific. Just a stretch. And when you are ready, rolling up into a comfortable seat. If you were lying down, and then to finish, we bring the hands onto the chest and we take a moment in gratitude. We thank our bodies for being strong and adaptable. We thank our minds for calming down, even if it was just for a moment in time. And we thank our breath for always being there to support us. Take a breath in through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. Then you are ready to step back into your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care and see you soon.